Okay, this is lesson 5.6 in elementary algebra, factoring, a general review. Alright, so factoring is one of those things that you gain the skill by doing it a lot. And not only do you learn the skill by doing it a lot, you learn shortcuts and you learn to recognize things just by looking at the problem as far as the best way to simplify. Now, simplify does not mean that you're looking for the answer. It's not that you're looking for X or A or B or some letter. You're trying to make the statement or the expression simpler and easier to look at. So we're not going to be finding X and Y, what number they represent. There's no equal sign. So when there's no equal sign, you're not looking for the answer. We're just looking to simplify. So for example, example 1 says we have 2x to the 6th power minus 8x cubed. Alright, so if we were to look at this, this is again going to be 2x to the 6th minus 2 times 2 times 2x to the 3rd. So what I'm interested in doing when it says factor is I'm looking for the largest number that goes into both this 2 and this 8. Well, the largest number that goes into both of these has to be either this number itself or a number smaller, or it won't go into this. So it's kind of like if I say find two numbers that go into both 6 and 8. Well, it can't be a number bigger than this because a number bigger than that won't go into 6. Like 8 won't go into 6, 15 won't go into 6, so it has to either be 6 goes into 6 once, or it has to be a number smaller than that. Alright, so that's what we're looking at here. So it's got to either be 2 or a number smaller than 2, but we're looking for the biggest one that goes into both 2 and this. And obviously it's going to be the one that's common to both of them there. So we've got a 2 and a 2. So we're going to pull both of those out. So really we're just pulling 1, 2 out, but it occurs in both of those places. Okay, and then we're going to write what's left. Well, there's nothing left here, so that goes away. The minus sign will always carry along. We have 4 left here. Alright, let's do the same thing with the x's. I have 6 x's there and 3 there. So what do I have common to both of those sets? An x cubed. Okay? So what I'm looking for is the largest number that is common to both. So when I take out an x cubed away out of 6, I'm left with 3 left over. I'm left with a 3 there because I took 3. Okay? And what am I left here when I take out x cubed? I'm left with nothing, so that just goes away. So that is what I'm left with. Now, let's go ahead and rewrite this a little bit differently. And here comes an ambulance. There's going to be a lot of noise out there in just a minute. Let's write this as 2x to the 5th minus 8x cubed. Yeah, this campground is right next to an emergency center, so every time somebody calls 911 you get the sirens here, so might get a little noisy. Alright, let's try this again. What do we have common to both of those? We have a 2. And what do we have left? We have an x to the 5th there left because we took that one, and we have 4 there. Okay, now if we put this back, we get 2x to the 5th, and 2 times 4 is 8. So we get our number back. Alright, now let's look and see if we have anything else in common. I have a 3 here on this x, and I have a 5. So the most x's I can pull out is 3. And I'm left with an x squared minus 4. Okay? So I look here and I say, okay, I can pull 3 out, leaving me 2. Here I can pull 3 out, leaving me nothing. Alright, so I've got that. And so that is factored. But I look at this, and I remember way back we did the difference of two squares. The difference of two squares says if I can take the square root of this and the square root of this, and there's a minus sign, I can get square root of x squared, put it there, square root of that, and then I put a plus or a minus. And that is as simple as we can go. Okay, so again, this just takes a lot of practice to get this down. So we have 3x to the fourth minus 18x cubed plus 27x squared. So I'm going to go ahead and write these as this. That's already prime. 3 times 3 times 2. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, so let's look and see what we have common. Well, I have 1 3 there, 1 3 there, and 1 3 there. That's really all I can pull out as far as my numbers. And I'm left with that. Now let's look and see what else I can pull out. I've got 4 x's there, 3 there, and 2 there, so the most I can pull out is 2. And that leaves me with an x squared here. That leaves me with an x there, because I pulled 2 of them out. I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a minute. Okay, not only am I next to an emergency service center, I'm also at a stoplight, and those ambulances just lay on their horn because these crazy people from Florida don't pay any attention to the ambulances. Alright, so, and I've got 9 there because I took this whole squared out of there. Alright, so I had 4, and I took 2 out, leaving me 2. I had 3, took 2 out, left me with 1. Had 2, took 2 out, left me with none. Now I've got that. Now I've got to look at this and see if there is a way that I can make this into 2 binomials. So, x, 3, 3, and minus, minus. Alright, if I did the FOIL, I would get this back again. So, you just have to look at these and realize that there are some things you can do. And then the final thing, let's just take our x minus 3 and square it, since it's x minus 3 times x minus 3. And that ends up being the answer that we come up with. Alright, so next video we'll be going into example 3.